Hi everyone. So I'm auditing my own PhD today, and I'm going to be brutally honest about it. It's not the polished version for a conference, not the version I'll give to my supervisor every other week in a progress meeting. This is the real one. What I'll keep exactly as it is, right? What I'll change if I had to start again. And what genuinely surprised me about this whole journey. If you've watched this whole series with me, thank you for being there. Thank you for being here for all of it. But this is where we land, right? Because we need to move on with the whole Roda 360 discussion. So, welcome back to Roda 360. My name is Rhoda, and for the first time on this channel, I'm standing just to close this episode. So, we've been discussing some PhD through the series. We've covered everything that is worth covering. Whether your PhD is worth it, the imposter syndrome around it, funding, accommodation, well-being, building a whole life along this process. Today, I want to do something different, an honest audit, where I'm actually right now in this PhD pathway through this journey. I'm looking at it directly and clearly, rather than through some anxiety or performance setting. I want this format to be something I'll visit, maybe annually, maybe sometime next year, or in 2 years, or some other time. The future me can look back exactly what this current me actually thought in real time, not the reconstructed one in hindsight, once everything resolved itself neatly, which I pray so soon. So let's begin. Let's start with what actually worked for me, right? And because I think honest audits need real credits given, not just the critical parts, not just critiquing what has not been good. So, one, what worked for me was choosing a topic that I genuinely cared about. My research sits at the intersection of AI and pain management for older adults. And I did not choose this because it was fashionable or because it was safe. I chose it because I actually believed it mattered, right? And it still matters deeply for people who are often under-assessed in pain, and then unheard because nobody wants to hear them. Everybody thinks pain is about aging, right? On the hardest part of this process, that genuine care has been the thing that kept me moving when discipline alone was not enough. The care that, okay, this can actually benefit an older adult. Now, building Roda 360 alongside the PhD, not after, is some discipline that I have come to accept. I could have told myself to wait, finish the doctorate first, then build a platform. But then I'm genuinely glad that I didn't listen to that voice. Building both simultaneously has made each one sharper, and waiting could have meant the years of silence that I was running away from, the years of silence that I was not ready to progress my life with again. So staying connected to my professional identity rather than discarding it again was another thing that helped me. I came into this PhD as a pharmacist with real industry experience, not as a blank academic slate, right? I'm glad I never tried to hide or minimize that. Now, I'm being an asset. I'm an asset. I'm not a liability. When it comes to occasionally, making me feel as if I don't belong to the narrow academic family, I remind myself, look, I'm coming as an asset and not a liability. So let's look at what I would have genuinely done differently, or if I'm going to enroll again, what I would do differently. Now, this is the hard part, right? What I would actually change. One, I would have sought other doctoral students earlier and more deliberately. because I spent, especially in my first year, the first 6 months of my enrollment, I would have had more discussions with people who had gone ahead of me, even if it's not in the same school or the same department. People that were in their second or third year or even final year, and had that discussion, discussions with them, how it is, how recruitment is, how research in this context is. Talk to people deliberately. I'd have spent more of the early part of this journey not being isolated like I did. Isolated myself a lot, not because there were no people to actually talk to, because I was coming from a place where I found it difficult to talk to people. I found it difficult to actually approach people. Networking was quite a hill task for me where I'm coming from. I didn't talk much. So that was quite difficult for me. Then probably I was navigating settling in this program and having a family. It wasn't easy at all. So when I thought about networking, my children's well-being, progressing with my scoping review, which I was doing then, understanding the whole landscape, attending supervision meetings and having to understand that, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. I didn't really have time to go out that much, but that's not an excuse. That's not an excuse at all. That is what I would have done differently. I would have gone out more. I would have spoken to these people more. The few I spoke to were actually willing, to give me any information. But then at the early part of the PhD, I didn't even know what to ask, because one, I was still overwhelmed with, coming into a new country and, settling in. So yeah, the connection was available, like I said, but I didn't prioritize that active seeking, active asking, active seeking out of task or things that will help me earlier. For instance, during my scoping review, it was when I wanted to begin the scoping review. When I had done the search, I started looking for people that had done scoping review to help to tell me how they navigated their own, right? So yeah, another thing I would do, aside networking with doctoral students in that field, was community. So I assumed, because I didn't see most people who looked like me in my field, I didn't see most people who looked like me in my field. So I assumed I could find my footing alone. One. Secondly, I didn't see people that came from my part of the world. I didn't see many of them in pharmacy. That's my department. So I felt, okay, probably I'm able to figure this out later. I'm doing that. I'm figuring this out later. But it's not like, it's not so smooth. It's not like it would have been if I had actually actively sought the help earlier. It's not like in the US where maybe you have about 5-6 people coming from Nigeria, coming from the same academic background in Nigeria, having them in the same faculty, where they'll have meetings together, they will share tips with themselves. I didn't have all that. Aside that, like I said, with or without that, I'd have sought people's help and thoughts, about my area of research earlier on. Of course, I wouldn't make that choice again, because community, like I've learned over the past few years, is not a reward for figuring things out, right? But community is a part of how you figure things out. It's not a reward for doing. No, I have built, this checking point, right? I would have done it sooner if I had a community to help me figure these things out. Again, I would have built check-ins with myself sooner. this very audit I'm doing now that you're looking at me like this, I would have started it sooner. Maybe in month 1 or month 2 or month 6 of when I started. Not now, although it's not late. Having a map out of PhD audit is important. You understand? So whether it be the first quarter. Now, one thing that happened with me, I actually have my spreadsheet on the different audits I'll be doing for my PhD program. But somehow along the line, I forgot. Things got overwhelming. The research, it evolved from what I came in to actually do, or what I thought I was going to study. The research evolved. Kids were there growing, or are still there growing. You know, so many things happening at the same time. And I'm a kind of person that I understood that I have a life, right? I have a life outside of PhD. And I was willing to do everything to protect that life. Because the PhD has come. It'll go. And when it passes, what happens to me? What happens to this life that I've been building, and this life that I'm trying to build? What happened to Roda 360 that took me 5 years to start? So yeah, I would have started self-auditing early. But one thing that helped me is that my university has a platform where you write in any of your doctoral meetings, you have with your supervisor, you put it in there, right? It's something they submit as part of their own assessment. But if you go back to it, all your write-ups are there. You will know where you started from. You know the input that you've done. You know how far you are going. It's a good audit. Because you are the one writing it, right? So if you write it very well, you understand that, okay, you've done something or you've not. So mid-session or early session audit for PhD is something that I would have started earlier and not partway through the journey. Secondly, or thirdly, I don't even know which number now, small, regular, honest reflection seems to seems to help. Auditing is different from reflections. Auditing is when you sit down and critically say, okay, this is what I've done. Great. This is what I have missed. This is what I could have done. You tell yourself the truth. Because sometimes when you allow people to tell you how they see you or what they think what they think you've been doing, then you may not like it. So sometimes life has given us a choice to be able to sit down and actually tell ourselves the truth. It might not be academia. You may be watching me today. It's good. Audit your life. Audit your finances. Audit your relationship. Yeah. If it's not good, it's not good. If you have to work on it, you have to work on it. If you have to walk away from it, walk away from it, right? Because anything you leave grows. Any seed you force to the ground today, you leave it and say, it's just a seed, it will grow. So any pattern you do not, you see and you feel uncomfortable about and you do not work on, it will grow. It will grow. Whether you check on it or not, it will grow. Yeah. Self-reflection for me is a weekly thing. Self-reflect, because that's what gives me the clear mind to move ahead every week. Yeah, I've had to be more realistic about my life, but then I would have done that earlier. Research-wise, if I was more realistic about my research earlier, then I would have known that recruitment, real-world timeliness, and meeting with people would actually move slow. It's slower, it's messier, it's less linear than any proposal document that you submitted for that research. Because I planned around an idealized timeline, you know, in my head. I even wrote it down, within 1 to 2, 3 months I would have done this. Within 6 to 9 months I would have done that. But it didn't work that way. That was not the reality. It's not predictable. My thoughts, my ideas don't even match it. And in that time, I wasted some emotional energy being frustrated by that gap before I simply accepted it as normal. I worry a lot. If you watch my videos, I've said it over and over again that I'm the kind of person that worries a lot. So when things were not working the way I had planned it, I started getting frustrated. I started getting worried. But then if I had actually thought about the reality on time, then that wouldn't be the case. Then when it happened, I would have known that, okay, yes, it's normal part of research process. It's normal time part of active recruitment. Active recruitment is hard. It's not like collecting data. It's not even like mixing chemicals in the lab. It's not even like looking at microscope. You see, working with people, many of us should go back to school to study people management. Working with people is hard. It's hard. It's hard enough when you are new in the country. It's hard enough when they don't trust you, when they don't know what you're going to do with your data. So I wasted so much emotional energy on that one before I simply accepted that, okay, this is how it is, and this is normal, and this is what shapes, this kind of work. And it's not a personal failure to plan well enough. Yes. So let me talk about what genuinely surprised me. That I didn't anticipate those things at all. Yeah, I probably was too ambitious. Right? I'm Nigerian. We're ambitious people. So but what I didn't anticipate was how much my own thinking has actually changed. Not just my knowledge in the area of my research. Now, I expected to learn facts. I didn't expect to develop a genuinely different relationship with uncertainty. Like being more comfortable sitting in not knowing it. This is the first time, like, I can actually, you ask me a question, I can actually say, I don't know it without shame. Before that, I've been like, and I'm trying to be thinking, like, racking my head. What is it? What is this person asking? How am I going to ask things? But right now, I'm so comfortable in uncertainty, in not knowing what it is or what it's going to be. How my next month is going to be in this risk, I don't know. How my next recruitment is going to be, I don't know. How I'm going to bring all this together in a thesis, I don't know. How my post-PhD life is going to be, I don't know. But somehow, I'm comfortable in this space. This is what the PhD has done to me. And I like it. I love it. I love it for me. It has changed me. It has changed my thinking pattern. How much this process has clarified what I actually want to build going forward, professionally, through Roda 360. Everything has developed alongside this PhD. I didn't start this program with a clear 5-year plan for when I finish it. However, I'm finishing this season with a much clearer sense of where digital health, equity, and storytelling intersect. For me personally, not just for my participants or my patients, for me personally, because that clarity is its own an unexpected outcome of the work, the frameworks I'm using, how I'm navigating, fixing all these things, creating this new knowledge myself, even though I've not been in academics before now, right? And honestly, I used to underestimate the emotional weight of doing meaningful work slowly. Guys, it's hard. It's hard. I'm used to the professional environments with faster feedback loops. Whoop, just do this. It's happening. This one, there's an outcome. Now I'm learning to find genuine satisfaction in slow, uncertain, not so glamorous progress that has been its own quiet, unexpected education. That has been the education that is running along the official one for me. Now, if I was to advise someone starting out, someone came to me today and said, okay, I want to start out exactly at this stage. Here's what I'll say. First, build your community now. Don't wait. Build your network now. Don't wait. Sometimes we want to wait until we finish the PhD before we begin to build a network that will help us post PhD. But that's late. Whether through networks, through LinkedIn, through conferences, through your doctoral events that you have in your faculty or in your school or across the university, build your community now, not eventually. Don't wait until you feel established enough to deserve a connection. See, one thing I've learned, especially from being available for some volunteer works, is that the more you build connections now, the more you meet people now, the more you know those people that are not, respectively, I'm going to say this, those people that are not good for you, those people that are not good for your career, those people that will not help you in any way, those people you too cannot be of use to in any way, those people that are not your people. That's what building early connections and early networks does for you. You understand that, okay, this person is not good for my life at this point of my life, or this person may not be good for my life at the next phase of my life. And then you move on, not to have issues with anybody, but then you know where to put, section your communities. You know how to know that, okay, this network is for this particular aspect of my journey. That network is for this particular aspect of my research. So you understand that. Like, my research is an intersection of about 3 main aspects of the healthcare system. So right now, I'm building networks for each individual segment or in each individual part of the research. I can't bring them together, but then I know that, okay, if I think about in health, I know who to reach out to. If I think about older adults, I know who to reach out to. If I think about pain in general, I know who to reach out to. If I think about research methods, mixed methods, qualitative, quantitative, I know who to reach out to. So build your community early. Don't wait. There's never enough time to feel ready, to feel more established before you think you're going to deserve a connection. Then, if I had someone that is starting again or is starting now, I'll say to the person, audit yourself regularly. Don't wait till you're halfway like I'm doing now. I'm doing it publicly today, even if you don't have to do yours publicly. Yeah, yours can stay private, but audit yourself regularly. Have a timeline for audit. It could be 3 months, 6 months, because drift is easier to correct early than late. Next thing, hold on to whatever brought you here in the first place. The real question, the real care, whatever it was. Now, a few months ago or earlier this year, I was a bit worried because I thought I was drifting away from my initial PhD proposal, what actually brought me here. So it became probably I was ready to go to drift right into wherever the PhD was pushing me to. However, I knew that there were sets of questions that I wanted to get answered in my thesis. There were things that if I opened my thesis, I wanted to see those answers, or I wanted to see something about them. However, the latter part of last year, stroke early this year, I thought I was not, going to be able to reach that goal. Or I thought I was totally drifting away from those questions. Where I am now, it's not as if I'm totally there yet, right, to answer those questions. However, I'm finding a way to put me back on that pedestal, right? On that lane that will help me to probably, even if I don't answer the 3 questions I had in my proposal, I should be able to answer 2 with the lane I'm taking now. So yeah, hold on to whatever brought you here. Hold on to the real outcome you wanted to see, whatever it was, because that's what will carry you through to the end. If you don't know what you're doing, if you don't know the outcome you're expecting, then it's as if whatever comes is what you take. Knowing what you want from your research is what will give you the inspiration to carry on when the difficulties come, because they will come. Everything will simply continue. The hard things will come, and you need the inspiration to continue. Another one, resist the idealized timeline in your head. I'm going to finish PhD in 3 years. I'm going to finish. My sister, my brother, resist it. Be open. Just be open to learning and developing the new knowledge that you've come to learn and develop. That timeline, that's what puts a lot of pressure on some of our heads. I should finish this in 3 years. If you can, congratulations. I know someone that finished his in 2 years, 9 months. Yes, 2 years and 9 months, he finished his PhD. I know people like that. But yours may be 3 years. Yours may be 4 years. Yours may be 5 years. Others 7 years. So just be open to doing the right thing and getting out quality thesis, quality research, something someone can look back to and say, okay, I can reference this in their own work in the future. Now, another one is you have to try to just do your work as early as you possibly can and just move through it and give yourself peace. Give yourself what? Peace. I'm going to close that because I'm rushing for a program. So that's my honest mid-PhD audit. What I'll keep, what I'll change, what surprised me, I've said it out loud without polish. And this closes our PhD truth series. And I want to say something genuine here. This series started because of one episode. And that episode is a PhD really worth it? Or how did I say, is your PhD really worth it? And I noticed that episode clearly hit something real for so many of you. Your comments, your questions, your own stories shared back to me almost shaped every episode that followed thereafter. This series is genuinely as much yours as it is mine. Thank you. If you are in your own doctoral journey right now, or a different career journey right now, wherever you are in it, I hope something in this series made you feel less alone. You are never alone. That was the actual goal. So tell me, if you did your own honesty today, what's that one thing you genuinely do differently? I'd love to know, and I think it will help someone in the community too. If the series helped you, share the one episode that mattered most with someone who needs exactly that one thing. Subscribe, because we're moving forward to a new territory in probably in 2 weeks' time. We're moving to what nobody tells you about moving to New Zealand and other career and professional topics. My name is Rhoda, yours truly, and this is Rhoda 360 degrees of inspiration, insight, and impact. Talking about the full 360. Take care of yourself and each other. Bye.